The film begins with Ryan Logan, a skilled sniper from a special military team, on a mission with his fellow soldiers. Ryan is known for his reliability as a sniper and often has to protect his team from a distance. But sometimes, due to the carelessness of his comrades, he has to confront the enemy head-on to save his colleagues. In the present day, Ryan has retired from the military due to injuries he sustained during his missions. He spends his time teaching his son, Billy, how to hunt, hoping to pass on his skills. However, Billy is not interested in becoming a sniper like his father and instead chooses to release his prey. He realizes that Billy doesn't have the same killer instinct as him, but he's not disappointed. He doesn't want to kill people anymore like he did in the military. When Ryan and Billy return home, they are greeted by Justine, Ryan's wife, who is worried about Billy's safety during the hunt. Justine is pregnant with their second child, and Ryan becomes even more protective of his family. He wakes up early every day to make breakfast for Billy and Justine, taking over Justine's role so she can rest. Then, as Ryan finished his work at home, he headed to the military base where he trained young soldiers. His colleague, Johnny, told him that their boss made a mistake in assigning Ryan to supervise soldiers instead of being in the war, given his remarkable shooting skills. However, he had already decided to retire as a sniper and just smiled at Johnny's words. Meanwhile, Justine was taking Billy to school when they were hit by a reckless driver, leaving them both critically injured. Soon after, Ryan and Johnny rushed to the hospital, where they received the devastating news that Billy and Justine had lost a lot of blood and needed transfusions urgently. They also learned that Justine's baby could not be saved. At that moment, Ryan felt sad and torn, knowing that his blood type matched both his wife and son. He had to make a difficult decision and sacrifice one to save the other. After much contemplation, he decided to donate his blood to Billy and let Justine go, knowing that she would want him to focus on their son. It was a heartbreaking moment for Ryan, but he knew he had to be strong for his family. Meanwhile, Johnny saw Ryan struggling and took revenge on the drunk driver who hit Justine and Billy. He kidnapped the driver, who was also hospitalized, and tortured him. Years later, Ryan's appearance had changed dramatically with longer hair, and he still thought of his late wife, Justine. Billy had grown into a mischievous teenager and had been in trouble with the law several times. The judge warned Ryan that Billy would be placed in a social institution if he got into trouble again, as Ryan was unable to properly educate him. At that time, Ryan was worried about losing his son. The next day, Ryan was summoned to the principal's office as Billy's school fees were overdue, and the school couldn't tolerate Billy's violations anymore. The principal gave him a short time to pay off the fees, or Billy would be expelled from school. Shortly after, Ryan and Johnny met in a cafe. It turned out that they were both retired from the military for a while. There, Johnny offered him a job that paid a lot of money, but Ryan knew it was illegal, so he politely refused. He was happy working as a salesperson in a company. At home, Ryan and Billy didn't seem to get along. They hardly talked to each other. After dropping Billy off at school, Ryan started selling his goods to a customer. But the customer was so rude that Ryan decided to give him a warning before leaving. At that time, Ryan was annoyed and decided to head back home. To his surprise, he saw Johnny chatting with Billy at his house. There, Ryan was worried about what Johnny might be saying to Billy. He immediately asked Johnny to talk outside. Johnny again offered Ryan a job as a sniper to rob money from drug dealers. At first, Ryan refused, but his financial situation was getting worse, so he felt forced to accept the offer. However, he made it clear that he wouldn't kill anyone. Then, when Ryan got home, he looked at his old weapons that he hadn't used in a while. He decided to bring a gun instead of his sniper rifle because it was more discreet. Later, Ryan and Johnny followed Johnny's plan and robbed a drug dealer's safe. They managed to get a few $100s in cash, but they didn't realize that a boy at the base had sent a message to his brother about the robbery. Luckily, Johnny knew the area well, and they escaped unnoticed. After the robbery, Johnny and Ryan chatted happily. Johnny said that he probably wouldn't see Ryan again because they had gotten a lot of money. Then, he gave some of the money to Ryan to pay for Billy's school fees. The next day, Ryan received some bad news. His boss fired him because a customer reported his actions. Because of that, he had to find Johnny again to get another illegal job. Johnny knew Ryan needed money, so he offered a more challenging job. Ryan had to use his sniper rifle to protect Johnny from a distance. While Ryan was getting ready for the mission, Billy came and asked to go out with his friends. Then, Ryan gave him permission and continued with his mission. Shortly after, Ryan monitored Johnny from a distance and watched Johnny's interactions with the drug dealers. There, Johnny asked Ryan to shoot anyone who seemed suspicious. However, the drug dealers accused Johnny of robbing their headquarters. But he easily denied the accusations, and the drug dealers couldn't harm him. Ryan was ready with his gun but didn't shoot anyone. Meanwhile, Billy was having a great time with his friends, drinking alcoholic beverages and enjoying each other's company. Despite already being intoxicated, his friend pressured him into driving his parents' car. It was a dangerous decision, and things quickly took a turn for the worse. On the other hand, Ryan, who had just finished his own task, received news that Billy had crashed the car and caused significant damage. He hurried to see his troubled friend, but his patience was wearing thin with Billy's repeated mishaps. At that time, he had not even finished paying Billy's tuition fees, but now they had to figure out how to pay for the damage to the car. When Billy arrived home, he was filled with regret and even contemplated ending his own life. Ryan tried to console him and offer support, giving him a much-needed hug. Later on, Ryan attempted to apologize to the owner of the car and make amends, but it only made things more complicated. The owner, who happened to be a lawyer, demanded full compensation for the damage and forbade Billy from being friends with his son. Because of that incident, Ryan needed a lot of money to pay for the car repairs, so he turned to Johnny for a job. At that time, Johnny offered him a high-paying job as a hitman, targeting drug dealers who were after him. Ryan, a skilled sniper, didn't hesitate to accept the illegal job. On the day of the mission, Ryan arrived 5 hours early to scope out the area and plan his shot. He considered the wind and reflections from the glass to avoid detection. When gangsters arrived to kill Johnny, Ryan was ready. They demanded the money Johnny had stolen from their safe at gunpoint, but Johnny smiled confidently, knowing Ryan would protect him. Soon after, Ryan quickly took out the gangsters, but more appeared, hunting for Johnny. He remained alert and managed to thwart their attack. After finishing his work, he left Johnny to bury the corpses of the gangsters. The following day, the lawyer whose car Billy damaged spotted Ryan lurking in the parking lot. The lawyer hopped into his car to go home, only to be taken aback by Ryan already being inside, threatening him. The lawyer was so scared that he eventually agreed to let bygones be bygones with Billy and forget about the car incident. Finally, Johnny was able to breathe a sigh of relief after he got away from the gangsters that were chasing him. He was celebrating his newfound freedom in a house, surrounded by drinks and music. Suddenly, his celebration was cut short when a new gang of thugs barged in, intent on killing him. Thankfully, Johnny was able to fend them off and save his own life. But the feeling of safety was short-lived, and Johnny soon realized that he was still in danger. He made his way to Ryan's house the next day and asked him to join him on a new mission. Unfortunately, Ryan declined, which angered Johnny. Suddenly, Johnny attacked Ryan, hoping to kill him and use him as a scapegoat for all of the robberies and murders that he had committed. There, Ryan was forced to fight back against his partner. Just when things were looking grim, Billy showed up with Ryan's rifle and shot Johnny. The film ended with Ryan and Billy sitting in a park, chatting and seemingly reconciling, both feeling happier than before. The film ends. The moral lesson of the film is that if you want to solve your problems, just become a hitman. Don't worry about the legality of your actions or the consequences of your choices. As long as you have a gun and a willingness to do whatever it takes, you'll be just fine. Oh, and don't forget to involve your troubled teenage son in your criminal activities. It's a great bonding experience.